You don't have to just sit back and wait for it to be exciting. You have to go out and actually create the excitement. Today, we're going to be talking about why your life is so boring. And we're also going to talk about how to fix it. Let's get real. If you're here, if you're listening to this, chances are you might have felt this subtle, gnawing sense of boredom creeping into your life. Or you might just all out have the sense of boredom living in your house at this point. And it might be because you just wake up and you go to work and you come home and you watch some Netflix shows and you scroll endlessly on your phone and you sleep and you repeat and you do it over and over and over again. And after a while, you're sitting there and you're like, hey, is this it? Is this all that there is in life? Is life this boring that I'm just supposed to do the same shit every single day in, day out? No. The good news is life is not supposed to be that boring. It's not that boring. The truth is you are that boring. If your life is that boring, you're the reason why. And the good part about it is that you can fix it. So before you turn this off or throw your phone with me across the room, stick with me, because if lately your life feels like a never-ending loop of meh, then you can do something about it. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is the 4 different reasons why your life is so boring. And then for each reason your life is so boring, how to actually go and fix it. Okay? Let's dive into it. So the first one is that you might have become a passive participant in your own life. I see this with so many people where you just kind of keep doing the same thing over and over again. You're so routine, it's so many habits that you just kind of become passively living in your own life. Like routine, more than anything else, has become your ruler. And routines can be very powerful. They give you structure. They can automate decisions. They can help you function. If you have the routine of going to the gym 5 times a week, that's the good thing. If you have the routine of coming home, eating some Hot Pockets and scrolling on your phone, probably not the best routine to have. But when your routine turns to autopilot and you stop actually living and you just kind of exist, like you're just kind of using the air in your house, that's not really where you want to be. So if your life feels too repetitive, it's probably because you've stopped actively participating in your own life. I've been there before. I know what it feels like. It sucks. Where you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over. And I've woken up at some point in time been like, is this it? Like, this can't be all of life. And so now you might just be passively watching your life go by. And what you need to do is you need to find something that excites you. Anything. You need to find something that pushes you in some sort of way. You need to find something that feels like it's starting to wake your soul up again. Because right now you might just be coasting and you need to stop. I say a lot of times it's like the way I see most people live in their life is if you just got on a boat, a sailboat, and you just kind of pushed off the dock and you're like, well, let's just see where the winds take me. Let's see where the tides take me. And you're just floating from one place to another that you never even really want to be at in the first place, when you don't even realize you can literally start steering the boat yourself. And so what I recommend for you is this week, shake things up a little bit. Like small changes in your life disrupt the monotony of every single day. It could be super simple, like taking a completely different way to work, even if it takes a little bit longer, or ordering something new at your favorite restaurant. I know how it is. I'm one of those people who goes to my favorite restaurant. I order the same damn thing every single time because if I don't get the thing that I wanted and I get something that's not as good, I'm so disappointed because I could have just gotten the thing that I know is a home run. Order something new at your go-to restaurant or go to a brand new restaurant. Switch up your morning routine. Try something different. Read a new type of book that's about something you've never thought of before. The tiniest shifts in your routine, in your days, can wake up your brain because your brain is on such autopilot. And if it wakes your brain up a little bit, it makes your life start to feel a little bit more fresh again. Take a weekend trip to a nearby town. Get an Airbnb at a place that's 2 hours from you. If you don't have money for the Airbnb, drive out to a town that you've never been to before. Try a new restaurant. Find a new local band to listen to. Try a new hiking trail. Just do something different. Get yourself out of your comfort zone. What's something that you have been wanting to do? It's been in the back of your mind that kind of scares you a little bit. Like it kind of gives you some butterflies. Maybe you've been like, maybe I want to try skydiving. Maybe you want to go high-speed go-kart racing. Maybe you want to try public speaking. Something that's pushing you a little bit more, because if you're not growing, you're dying. And it ain't time for you to die yet. Your life, and one of the reasons why I think life is amazing is because we're supposed to have experiences. And there's so many experiences for you to have in your life, but you've just been doing the same thing over and over again. And chances are you haven't been experiencing anything new recently. And when you don't experience anything new, it just, kind of feels like the same thing every single day. So I want you to think about this. What's one thing that you can do this week that's outside of your normal routine? Try it out and just switch out of the same normal routine you've been doing all of the time. So that's the first thing. The second thing is there's a chance that you're living someone else's script. So whose life are you actually living? Have you ever asked yourself this question? Are you living your life or are you living someone else's life? Maybe your life feels boring because it isn't your life. It's what you think society wants of you. It's what you thought your parents wanted of you. Maybe it's your old past self wanted this. Your old past self got that degree. And now 10 years later, you're like, I don't like this job. This sucks. It's okay. It's okay to grow out of something. You don't wear the same underwear that you did 10 years ago. Doesn't mean you have to have the same job that you had 10 years ago if you have grown out of it. It's not your job to just keep living the same old life if it feels like you've grown out of it. And so maybe there's some old past self that thinks you should have done this, or some random expectation when someone told you that this was the right path. But deep down, for some reason, even though you were told it feels right, like it was right, it doesn't feel right deep down inside of you. So maybe you've lived your life based off of what you felt was obligation instead of passion, based off of what you thought you should do versus what you actually want to do. And I want you to realize this: boredom is your soul's way of saying, hey, this isn't it. Like your body is always sending you signals. Like if you eat, if you go out for Taco Tuesday and you get home and you got a rumbling in your tummy, that's your body's way of saying, hey, yeah, what you ate, you probably shouldn't have. And it's time to hit the eject button, right? If you're sitting there and you're bored and you're just every single day, just like, this sucks, and you're getting more anxious and depressed of it, that's your soul, your body's way of being like, hey, dude, hey, this isn't it. Do something different already. Your body can't say words to you, but it's saying something to you every time you feel something. And so how do you fix it? Ask yourself, are you living your own life or are you living somebody else's? If you think about this, if money wasn't an issue, how would you spend your days? How would you spend your days? If money was an issue, what would you do with your time? What sounds fun to you? You might say, oh, I would be in Mexico drinking margaritas on the beach. You'd only do that for a little bit of time. And then you'd be like, this is boring now too. I want to do something that lights me up. What is the thing that would light you up? If your current reality doesn't align, start making small shifts towards what excites you. So that's the second thing. The third reason why your life might be boring is because you just stopped being curious. Like you just stopped doing new things and learning new things and asking questions. Like, where's your sense of wonder? Have you ever been around a 3-year-old? They just ask why 100 times because they're so curious. Have you ever seen how much fun a 3-year-old has as well? Because everything's new, everything's fun. They're always trying to learn more. Boredom isn't just a lack of things to do sometimes. Sometimes it's just a lack of curiosity. Like your life feels boring, maybe because you've stopped seeking what's exciting. Like you need to go out and actually get it. Excitement doesn't just come to you. You have to go out and get excitement. Remember being a kid? Everything was new. Everything was a game. Everything was interesting. I want you to understand that when you became an adult, that part of you didn't die. It's just been buried under obligations and under routines and under all of these things that you quote unquote should do. all these shoulds, right? You need to stop shoulding all over yourself. Oh, I should do this. I should do this. I should be further along in my life. I should have done that with my life. I should have said that to her. Get over it. Go do something different. That little kid, that little exciting kid still lives inside of you. He or she has been sitting there in the corner, in the dark, just waiting for you to flip the light on and play with them again. What do they want to do? Think about that for a second. And pick one thing that you can explore this week. Find a hobby, whether it's a new hobby or whether it's a hobby you haven't done in a few years. Find a different place you've never been to. Find a book that you've never read. Find a concept that you want to learn about. Stop waiting. Like, plan the trip that you want to go on. Sign up for that class where you want to learn how to do pottery. Stop saying no. Say yes to more things. When your friends call you and say, hey, do you want to go do this? And you're like, no, because I don't want to get off the couch because I'm just a lazy piece of shit, right? Don't be that way. Get up and do something. If you're going to normally say no to somebody, just say yes and just see what happens. Because no one's going to come to shake up your life. You realize that. You have to be your own catalyst. And I understand. I get it. Sitting on the couch, it's so much easier. But you won't be sad when you go out and do something new with new people, with your friends, and have some fun. You'll come back and you'll be a little bit more tired from all the energy that you use, but you're gonna be like, damn it, you know what? I'm actually glad that I did that. So try to feed your curiosity like you would if you had a child that you had to take care of this weekend. If you had a child that you had to take care of this weekend and you couldn't stay in the house, you had to take them and go do something. What would you do with them? What would you go discover? What kind of fun could you discover with them? So have fun. Stop being a boring adult, like stop being so old and so boring. Like, life doesn't have to be boring. You don't have to just sit back and wait for it to be exciting. You have to go out and actually create the excitement. So that's number 3. And number 4 is there's a pretty good chance that you're consuming more than you're creating. I recommend that you stop scrolling and you start living. Your life is not the 6 inches in front of your face where you're holding your phone. Your life is everything that's beyond those 6 inches in front of your face. We live in a very entertainment saturated world. It is very easy just to get sucked into it, where you can fill every single empty moment with social media or with streaming or with Netflix or mindless distractions. You get that, right? Like, those are all mindless distractions. They're literally made to be mindless distractions, to sit back and passively watch and live your life. But there's nothing wrong with consuming content. I don't want you to think that. But consuming doesn't create fulfillment. Like, I've never seen somebody get off of TikTok and be like, oh, my soul feels so fulfilled. You know what feels fulfilling? What creates excitement is creating. The happiest people in the world don't just consume content. They create things. They make things. They write. They paint. They build new things. They learn. They go out and they create new things. Children, I always like to go back to children to rediscover who we truly are. Children are constantly creating. They're constantly making these new universes. You give them a little bit of paint, they'll paint on anything. They'll create anything and they'll see something that doesn't exist. I believe truly that deep down inside every single human, I believe that every single human is a creator. I don't believe that a person cannot, quote unquote, be creative. Like, oh, I'm not creative. No. Believe me, you're creative. It's probably just been so long since you've used your creativity that it's lying somewhere dormant deep down inside of you. But it wants to come out. So I would recommend that you spend less time scrolling, spend less time in front of screens, spend more time creating anything. I don't really care what it is. What can you create? So instead of watching someone else live their lives online, or someone else get ready and put on clothes, or someone else put on makeup, do it yourself, put on your own clothes, put on your makeup, and get the hell out the door and go create something with yourself. Start creating your own life. What can you create? What sounds fun to you? What's something that you want to try? And so I want you to understand that boredom is a signal. It's not a life sentence. So if you're sitting there like, damn, I've been really bored lately. Whenever something happens like boredom, we think we're going to be bored forever. Boredom is not a life sentence. It's a signal. It's your brain. It's your body. It's your soul saying, hey, this ain't it. We need to do something different. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling bored, if you're feeling uninspired, that is a wake-up call for you to do something different. Boredom isn't the actual problem. Boredom is the symptom. The real problem is that you've been so passive and routined in your life that it's turned into a prison for you. But you're the one with the key. So today, right now, as you're listening to this, I want you to choose one thing from this list of all the stuff that I've talked about to do something different. What's the one thing that you're going to commit that by the end of this week, you're going to do? And if you can do it today, please do it today. If you're on your drive home and you're like, you know what, I haven't painted in a while. Look on your phone. Is there a paint store? Is there a Walmart, a Target that you can go get some paint and just try some new things out? Like, just try something different today if you can. Stop acting so old and boring and quote unquote adulty. Like, just go out and have some fun already, because your life doesn't have to be boring. You're the one that needs to change it though. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you love this video, click this one right here. YouTube thinks that you should watch this one right now. And if you want to subscribe, go ahead and hit this button right there.